What's going on, guys? Welcome to Winners Wallets Worldviews. I'm your host, AJ Armstrong. You can follow me on Instagram at AaronArmstrong33, or you can go to my website, AaronJArmstrong.com. Just wanted to let you know that we are going to be launching something extremely exciting and extremely big and very different than things that we've done before. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a business leader, if you are looking to advance in your career, if you are looking for something to help you go to the next level in whatever you're trying to do in your life, your business, your health, we have a huge opportunity that's going to be coming up, and we're going to be launching a lot more details coming out this summer. However, if you guys want to find out more information about what this particular opportunity is, you got to do it on my email address. I can only get it off my email list. So if you go to aaronjarmstrong.com/email, you guys will have this exact thing sent straight to you via email, and we'll give you all sorts of early bird incentives to be a part of it. So please join us, come along with us. I'm really excited. I was just planning a lot of this stuff out today because we don't have all the details figured out. So we're going to roll this thing out through email. So please go to aaronjarmstrong.com/email, be a part of my list. It's not just about promotional stuff, though. We also send weekly newsletters. We give motivation, inspiration, all sorts of other things, as well as marketing tips and business strategies, hopefully that you guys can take away with you and apply in your life and your business, especially as you want to start building out your careers and whatever that may be. So guys, once again, aaronjarmstrong.com/email. Get on the list. I'm really excited to connect with you guys through that.
Welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, the only show that's going to teach you
how to be somebody.
Where in your life did you learn that you're not good enough?
Take what you're most passionate about and what you're most fearful of. What is the plan to overcome that fear? And what is the plan to enact that passion?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. If you can't, just comment. We're here in Huntsville, Alabama today. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Aaron Armstrong. I am the podcast host of Winners, Wallets, Worldviews. I'm the owner of Armstrong Ventures. I'm an investor. I'm also a coach and consultant, and I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, people that are attempting to become leaders in their life. So as I give you guys a second here to jump on, I want to talk to you guys about, hey, how are you today, guys? I want to talk to you guys about one of my personal struggles and how I overcame that, and now how I help other people overcome this. Hey, what's going on? So if you guys were like me, I used to be someone that had extremely big goals, and the goals were so big that they would even scare myself sometimes, and I couldn't really talk to anybody about it. For example, like one of my goals is I want to be a filmmaker. So if you want to be a filmmaker, everybody knows that how many people run over to Hollywood and they completely start busting tables or something like this. Hey, good morning, everybody. By the way I run my lives is if you just want to comment or whatever, we can continue the conversation. If you have specific questions on something you want to dig into, we can totally rock with that. So once again, everybody, my name's Aaron Armstrong. I run the podcast Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, and I also help people become leaders, whether it's in their careers, their businesses, or their entrepreneurs or whatever. So back to my story. When I was kind of like, in college, or even, afterwards a little bit, I always had like these awesome movie ideas, right? And I wanted to become a film producer. And it's just like, that's like this, when you want to talk to your parents about that, or you want to talk to your friends about that, or you want to talk to anybody, that's the first thing that they're just like, yeah, you and everybody else, man, right? It's like such a big goal that they just don't get it. And you can't really talk to anybody about a goal that big. So I was always a dreamer like that. It was just crazy. I wanted to do these huge things. I wanted to make a ton of money. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to create some type of extraordinary life. And the problem that I started to run into was my goals were so big that I couldn't really manage them. And it was so big that it would actually scare me away from starting them. And because I was scared to actually start like something that was so big, so incredible, I would delay it, or I wouldn't follow through with things, and I wouldn't create any type of plan or action plan to get there. Good morning, everybody. I'm talking about how you can start to follow through on some of these big goals that you might have. So the first thing that I learned, and I was one of the people that never could follow through with anything. So I would throw an idea out there. It'd be so cool. I'd go all in, and then like 6 months later, it would fizzle out. or not even 6 months sometimes. Maybe it would be 3 weeks later, I would fizzle out. I would just be done. And what I started to find out was that I couldn't stay accountable to myself. And that was one of my biggest problems, is I couldn't follow through with anything. I'd have a huge idea, something awesome, and I couldn't freaking get to the finish line because I was such a dreamer. I loved starting projects. I did not like finishing projects. That was the thing. So I had to figure out how I was going to overcome this issue. And there was a couple things that I realized I needed. And the first one was I needed to create a system to stay accountable to what my actual goals were, right? So I don't care how big your goal is, I don't care what it is. You want to land on the freaking moon, more power to you, man. It doesn't matter. The fact is, you need to create some type of system to stay accountable to the follow through. Excuse me. So one of the first things I noticed is that I need to have some type of accountability partner. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with how it works as a personal trainer, for example, personal trainers oftentimes don't know much more about, sometimes they do, but they don't always know more about exercise or training than a lot of people. It's just that there's somebody that makes them, number one, show up, hold them accountable to their results, and pushes them further than they thought they could go. So that's why being a personal trainer is so effective. And even Marissa and I have hired personal trainers, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of health and fitness. I was a college athlete. I've worked out my entire life. Marissa is a personal trainer, but it's just like that is the type of accountability you need. So having some type of accountability partner. If you're in the gym, some people have lifting partners, right? Or I know groups, especially in like church groups and stuff, you'll have an accountability circle. You have 3 or 4 people that get together and they hold you accountable to your own goals, and everybody kind of shares the wealth. I tried that for a while, and it was helpful, but it wasn't. I wanted someone that would just kick my ass, right? So I have a very like masculine style. I wanted someone that was going to absolutely kick my ass and force me to do it. So that was one of the reasons why I went out and I actually hired a coach to keep me accountable to things, and then they would follow up with you. They'd follow up with all the different things that you have going on in your life. Hey, did you get this done this week? Did you make your 10 phone calls? Did you get your workout in? Did you drink enough water? All these types of things you want to make sure that you're sticking with to help the bigger goal. That was one of the things that I really found helpful, by having somebody in your corner to push you that far. Okay, so the first one is having some type of person. And the reason that this works, this isn't just BS, this isn't just me telling you from experience. The reason this works is based on the authority bias, right? So the authority principles, influence technique that people use in sales, or they use it in leadership, any type of influence field. And what authority is it's the cognitive bias that you're more likely to do something from a person of authority, right? This is the experiment, if you guys can remember, where there was a man in a lab coat, and they were instructing someone to electrocute their subjects. And because the person was in a lab coat telling the person of influence to electrocute somebody in the other room, these people were doing it to levels that they thought would kill them, but the experiment was obviously completely staged. But people followed through with that because the person was in a lab coat and coming from a place of authority. So imagine you could hire somebody to be that person in a lab coat, or you have a good mentor or a good friend or someone that's very invested in your well-being, and you can get an accountability group together. But that person telling you what to do, you'll get the extra 3 reps on the bench. You'll go the extra mile. You'll do the extra things because someone's holding you personally accountable, because we're much more likely to do it if you have a person. So step 1, have an accountability partner. Step 2, and this one I really believe in, and I can show you some of these techniques. It's probably hard to do it on the live, so I might have to show you somewhere else. But if you have some type of accountability tracker that's tracking your progress. So what I do is I create a matrix. And if you break it all the way down, and I'll share with this on the next one, but if you can break these goals down all the way into what's the habit that is necessary, usually that some type of big goal has to be broken down all the way down to some type of habit, little tiny things that have to happen every single day. And you have some type of habit tracker. That accountability tracker will show you the progress. And there's something called the investment bias, and this works against you oftentimes, but sometimes it can work for you. And the investment bias, the best example, I think, is when you are, good morning, everybody. We're talking about systems and ways we can stay more accountable. So The best example I can give you of the investment bias is, you might know a couple that they've been in a relationship for probably 8-10 years or something like that. They're not married, and they don't really like each other. You can tell that they would have gotten married by now if they really liked each other. And they stay, and they're not gonna get married, and you don't think they really like each other, but they're just staying with each other because they've been together for 10 years. They're like, I've already invested this 10 years together. We might as well just keep it going, instead of like, no, you guys can totally date other people. You can totally go a different direction. That makes a lot more sense. But it's like, well, I already put all this into it. You do the same thing when you invest money. You might keep your money invested into some type of security or stock because you already have invested a lot of money, instead of taking it out at a new time and putting it in at the right time. So you're falling inconsistent with the logic, and you're falling succumb to an investment bias. Well, we can use this to our advantage in the same way. We can invest into something like a habit tracker, and we can visualize a matrix of every single day that you did this new habit that you're trying to create, or maybe an old habit you're trying to break. So example, if you are a smoker and you want to break the smoking habit, you could, every day you didn't have a cigarette, you could check off in a matrix that goes on all the rows you have the days of the month, and all the column headers you have the months of the year. And you go through that and you'll check. And if you have a bigger chart and you can see the progress by more X's, you're going to start to reveal to yourself the progress. By revealing to yourself the progress, you see the investment, and you're actually more likely to stick with it going forward. It's the same reason why, if you look at the scale every single day and you're trying to lose weight, when you start to see the number go down, you actually start to feel the progress, and you start to feel more motivated because you're seeing the work in front of you. And that's why, if you want looking at how you can stay accountable to things, having some type of habit tracker, accountability tracker in front of you is very effective, and I found that to be super helpful. And I can show you guys how to make one if you ever want. And they're very simple to make. I also have planners where I give them out, and you can just see how it all comes together. And then what you can do is, you can actually, like, if you're nerdy like me and you like, analytics and make dashboards and stuff, you can actually see the percentage of days I went without cigarette or drinking, or percentage of days I worked out, or percentage of days I didn't eat meat, or percentage of days I drank a gallon of water, or whatever. And you can start to make all these different metrics with it when you get creative with it. But that's the thing, you want to start to see that progress. So number 2 is have some type of accountability tracker. And then the third one, and this is, I think, the most important one, and if I did this logically, I probably should have actually started with this one. But you have extremely big goals, right? So if you have, hey, what's up, Chris? If you have extremely big goals, the best thing you can do is you can take those goals and break them down so small that you can just have one little itty bitty tiny bite-sized bit, and then you can knock that out. And what that does is that usually starts a snowball pattern. But if you were like me, when I was long ago, I had such big goals. I was like, no, I'm too good for the little bite-sized thing. I need to do the big goal. So I'd make a goal like, I need to make freaking $10,000 a week or something ridiculous like that right off the bat. And it's just like, so that week I wouldn't make $10,000, and then I would feel like crap, and then I wouldn't make it again the next week, and then I would just give up. And the reason I was giving up was because the goal wasn't bite-sized enough, so I wasn't able to actually win. This is the same thing with, like, the participation trophies and the kids out there playing around. It's like, everybody wants to win. It's not, we play the games so that we can win them. So if we can create a game that's still consistent with our big goal, but we can make little micro wins the entire way, that's the best way to set it up. And what that's doing is that's using the commitment bias. And using the commitment bias is when you start to have micro commitments, you start to stay more in step with your actual bigger picture. So what I would do is say, go as small as you possibly can. I'll give you a couple of examples. Go as small as you possibly can with some of these different goals. So let's say you wanted to write a book, right? What's going on, man? Let's say you wanted to write a book, big goal, right? That's usually pretty ambitious for people. If you say, I need to write this book by the end of the year, that's a good goal. But the thing is, what's going to keep you consistent with it? Well, break it down into a super small goal. So let's just say, all I want to do is write one paragraph every day, right? One paragraph every day. So that's a very small goal. You can even go down to, I just want to write one sentence every day. So as long as I open up the computer, open up Microsoft Word, and write one sentence, That's all I've got to do. And you're like, I could probably do that. I could probably open up the computer, open up Microsoft Word, and write one sentence every day. I'm telling you guys, just doing that, you're probably going to end up writing more than one sentence, and you're probably going to end up writing more than a paragraph because you're snowballing it. But the fact is, if you can just open up the computer, open up Microsoft Word, and write one sentence, you're going to start to get yourself into a rhythm, and that rhythm is going to allow you to pluck away and start chipping away at your book. But you got to commit to every single week. And I'll share an example of with my client. So my client, he hired me exclusively based off of principle number one. He wanted an accountability coach. He wanted somebody that's like, he's like, look, I know what to do. I work in sales. He's like, I know what to do. I really just need someone to kick my ass and make me do what I need to do. And I said, perfect. That's actually my ideal client. That's the people I want. I want someone that, like, I'm not an expert on everything, and I don't claim to be, and I don't want to be. I want to just help you get to where you need to go. So I'm talking to my client, and I said, he's like, look, the problem is I just don't have the confidence right now to make the amount of calls I need to make. I don't have the confidence to make the amount of calls. And we figured out, we said, if he gets 10 calls in, that converts to about one sale. So it's a numbers game, right? So I said, okay, if you can get one call in a day, just one call a day, that's it, every single day for 1 month, you'll have 3 people signed up at the end of the month. He has about a $500 commission. That's another $1,500 a month. And then he said if he can get $1,500 a month, he can quit his full-time job and he can go into sales full-time, right? So I said, all right, how do we get, all you got to do is get one call in a day. And he's like, if you miss, here's what you do. You're in debt. So the next day, if you missed your one call one day, the next day you got to make it up with 2. And you got to get out of debt before it becomes an issue, just like you would with your personal finances, just like you would with anything else. That made so much sense for him because it was such an easy goal. All he's got to do is just get himself pumped up, get one call in. You know what would happen is sometimes he'd get 2 calls in because once he got that first call in, he broke the jitters of making a phone call to some random stranger, and he was actually able to really rock and roll. And then he got like 3 calls in, 4 calls in, 5 calls in. This is the next month, he ended up doing 60 calls within the first 10 days. Because he had broken through his confidence barrier because of the micro commitment, just making 1 call a day. And he ended up getting his 3 sales in. This month he's already got more than his 3 sales in. And it's just like that little thing is all he needed to do. He just needed to make the 1 call a day. So that was an example that worked for him. If you guys are looking for how you can improve your diet, a good micro goal could be something like, instead of saying like, I'm just gonna cut out everything and never eat this or that again, it's just like, dude, you're not gonna stick with that. Here's something you could stick with. How about you make half of everything you eat green? What's going on, guys? Welcome. Like I said, ask questions if you guys want to. I'm giving some hacks on how to do some follow through with big goals, because that was my problem in my life, right? But I said, if you have a big goal, like you want to just shred fat, you want to be what, 10% body fat or something if you're a guy, because that's assuming that that's healthy for you. Then you could do something like, how do I make half of everything I eat green? That could be a very good micro goal. So when you're reaching for something to eat, is half of it green? I don't know. Let's see. Am I following that rule? Orange, ginger, cherry, stevia. So it's fruits. But that's fine, because there's basil in here. That's kind of green. Anyway. But something like that, right? If you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to do something with your body, just like exercise, right? So my wife and I were talking about this, and we were getting kind of soft in our exercise routine. I mean, in fact, I'm kind of delaying my workout right now by talking to you guys, so I got to make this quicker. But we're talking about it, and we're like, why are we're not committing to the intensity in the workouts, and we're missing workouts? What's going on? So we made the micro goal that I do my workouts in the morning. We made the micro goal that we will not press snooze on our alarm clock. Not press snooze on our alarm clock. That's exactly what our goal was, because if we don't press snooze, we have to wake up. If we have to wake up, we're going to go to the gym, because our alarm is set with the time that we have to go to the gym every single morning. So it's just like, that's the micro commitment. The commitment isn't just, I got to go to the gym every day, or I got to get 30 minutes of cardio in. The goal was just wake up at the time you need to wake up at. So that's a great example of something that you can do when it comes to exercise. And Reading. Just read one word a day. Once you open the book, read the first word, and you can shut the book and put it away. If you just do that every single day, you're going to read a couple more sentences. You might read a couple pages. You read a couple pages a day, you'll read a couple books a week. You can start to do these big goals that you have when you break them down into micro commitments. So let's recap, right? Number one, find an accountability partner or group of people, or hire somebody, right? I'm very serious about that. When you have someone to report to, I mean, the best entrepreneurs I know, right? Some of the best entrepreneurs I know, they will hire board of directors to tell them what to do because they can't stick with it themselves. Or they'll hire, or smaller entrepreneurs will hire coaches to report to all of their different goals, right? So number one, remember that. Report to somebody, have an accountability partner, whatever that is. Number two, create an accountability tracker, some type of metric dashboard that you can look at and create. I have strategies that I described on how to do that. I can show you guys that. If you're ever interested, you can send me a note. I'll try to show you what I have, take a picture. But that's something that you guys can work on because you want to look at the progress. You need to be shown the progress. Otherwise, you won't feel like there's progress. You guys don't believe yourself. That's why you love money. That's why you love losing weight. All these types of things is because it shows you the progress that you're getting. If you can see the progress, you're going to be able to be very successful. And the third one is, I don't care how big your goal is. I don't care if you want to be a billionaire. I don't care if you want to be a millionaire. I don't care if you want to be ripped, jacked in movies, a rock star, whatever the hell you want to do. Take that big goal and backwards plan that so you can chop it up into what's the habit that needs to change every single day to where I can achieve that. Who do I need to become, and how does that person act every single day? If I want to look like Chris Hemsworth, what I want to do is I want to work out every single day. If I don't think I can work out every single day, can I set the freaking alarm clock and wake up without pressing snooze every single day? If I can wake up without pressing snooze every single day, I'll end up in the gym. I'll end up working out every single day. I'll end up looking like him eventually over time. That's the idea. That's the system. That was one of the biggest struggles I had when I was trying to overcome follow through, because I'm an idea guy. A lot of you guys are like me. You just have ideas and it's like sick. Eventually you find out the ideas mean nothing without results. And it takes action, but it takes not only action, not starting the fire, but keeping the fire going. If you guys are going to go start a fire and you spark it up and you get a piece of paper going and it feels so good and then all of a sudden it just fizzles out, that's what's happening. You're not putting the fuel on it. You're not creating the follow through. You're not sustaining it. And that's what this is for. This is to create a system to sustain your fire, your inner fire. Because if you're like me, I would have gotten burnt out if I didn't see results within the first couple weeks. The reason I wasn't seeing results, I didn't have a habit tracker. I didn't have something showing me the results that I was getting. I didn't have something showing me my progress. I didn't have a goal that was small enough to actually be able to take in bite-sized chunks. Those are the things that I ran into. Those are my issues. So once again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll save this. I'll throw this up on my podcast probably because I don't think I released one this week yet. But guys, if you ever have questions on this stuff, this is the people that I love to work with. So I am an accountability coach. I coach with leaders. Almost all of my clients reach out to me because they want me to kick their ass, right? They know exactly what they need to do. They know their industry very well. They know exactly what they need to do, and they just need somebody to help them stay accountable to their own goals, right? There was a client I would call every single morning at 5:30 in the morning. That's what he wanted me to do. So we did a lot more than that, obviously, but every single morning at 5:30 in the morning, I would call him and I would talk to him. I'd say, get your ass out of bed. We got shit to do today because this is not, and then he's like, he's rolling around. I said, no, let's remind you of why you're doing this. You're not doing this for you. You're not doing this because you feel like it. You're doing this because you're trying to set up an incredible life for your family, because that's what you told me. You told me you need to do this for your family, for everything else. I'm giving him the why, punching him in the face every single morning with the real reason that he's out there. And that's exactly what I can do for you guys as well. So if you're ever interested in having that accountability partner I talked about, I have a program. It's strictly accountability coaching. It's we don't go into the one-on-one. We don't go that deep, but it's a little bit more affordable. You can always go to my website, aaronjarmstrong.com. Click on the pricing and info. You can see the accountability program right there. But guys, thank you so much for listening today. If you ever want to work together, shoot me a DM. I'll get you guys any information you want on all the stuff we covered today, because this was, I would say, the biggest struggle I still struggle with this quite a bit, but I mean, having these type of systems in place makes it so much easier for an idea person to stick with something and have consistent follow through to get to results. So thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic Wednesday. I think it is today, right? Wednesday. I'm going to try to hit the gym here before I get burned out or something, right? Follow through. Here we go. So have a good day, guys.